Good morning, everybody. You're watching Firewood on the Hill, and my name is Matt. Today we got some splitting to do, but first I want to talk to y'all about some ways of selling firewood. If you're in the firewood business, or if you are thinking about being in the firewood business, probably your first thought is, how am I going to sell some firewood? Am I going to sell it bulk? Am I going to sell it by the truckload? Am I going to sell it at a roadside stand? Am I going to sell it as bundles? These are all ways that I have sold wood and tried to figure out what was working for me. So the first way is selling bulk. So that would be if you're selling cords, that would be the cheapest way for the customer to buy a bunch of wood. But it's also the fastest way for you as the processor or seller to get rid of the wood. While you might think, why would you sell in bulk if you're not getting the most money out of it? Well, if you've done firewood, or if you watch people do firewood, you can see that everybody's always running out of room. You always need more room to store wood, to store logs, and what have you. So if you are in a spot where you don't have much room to store wood, selling bulk is actually a great idea, because you can turn over inventory and sell more and more and more. So the second way of selling firewood is by truckload, whether you have a long bed, short bed, or just a regular truck. My truck has a 6.5 foot truck bed, so it's right at a full face cord, and that's how I sell my wood. I sell cords, but I sell maybe like to 2 or 3 customers. It's not enough for me to say that I sell bulk wood. I sell most of my wood through the truckload. I feel like that is what is the best for me, because one, I'm getting more money per truckload because I'm charging for a delivery fee. The customers like it because they can't, a lot of people can't store a full cord. And it's not worth them to me deliver a half a face cord or something smaller, because the fee would be half the price of the wood, right? The next way of selling wood would be a roadside stand, which I sell a ton of my wood at a roadside stand. But some pluses about a roadside stand, which I love, is customers are paying for a convenience of them being able to come pick up wood whenever they want. I'm able to charge a little bit more per wood for the convenience for the customer, and I'm not gouging them or anything, and I don't have to use any of my gas or vehicle or anything like that to go somewhere else to deliver it. And that's a huge help, because I tell you what, I have people coming all the time in the dark, all the time. Even during the summer, I had someone last night come at 10 o'clock to pick up a 40 rack. So that convenience is there, and that really helps sell a lot of wood. Next way of selling wood is through bundles or bags. And I am kind of on the fence between bundles or bags, and I'll tell you why. So as we know from selling firewood or talking to other people about selling firewood, you make more money per stick of wood, per piece of wood, selling at smaller quantities. Everybody agrees with that. I totally understand that. But when you're trying to sell a bunch of wood, I don't necessarily think bundles is the way to go, and I'll tell you why. Back a year or two ago, I had a video where I was selling firewood bundles to a campground. When I made this deal, I made a deal for 100 bundles at $4.50. So that's less than what I sell my bundles to everyone else. And the reason being is, when a customer is buying in bulk, you have to give them a discount. Otherwise, why would they come to you? So that'll be the first thing that I will tell y'all about that kind of gets lost in the sauce when people talk about bundles. I don't know anyone who's ever got that deal, and there could be somebody out there. I'm sure there is somebody out there. But when you're selling bulk, you're not selling for your retail price. You're just not. Why would a customer pay $7 a bundle when they can get it for $4.50? Because there's always someone else that's going to sell it. So that being the case, bundles is not always the best deal if you're trying to sell a lot of wood. Now, if you sell 10 cord a year, do them all in bundles. I agree with that, because that way you're getting as much money as you can for that wood. But if you're selling 50 to 100, 150, 200, I don't think you should be messing with bundles at all, unless you're doing something like I am, where I'm just pleasing the customer. I have a roadside stand. I make just enough bundles to keep that fed. That way I have customers that want them, so I'm going to sell them. But I'm not putting all my time and effort in selling bundles because I don't think the money's there. I'll give y'all an example. So if you have a cord of wood, okay? I sell a cord of wood for $330. That is not delivered. That's just for the wood, $330. I found out that I can get around 33 to 35 bundles per face cord. With that being said, if we did 33 times 3, 99, let's just call that 100. So you can get 100 bundles out of a full cord. If you're selling, now we said we were selling the bundles at 6 in the beginning of this video, but we know if you're selling 100 bundles, you're gonna have to go lower. So let's just call it $5. So 5 times 100 is $500. So you're gonna get $500 for the wood, okay? Now, you gotta take in the time it takes to bundle that wood. Back when I did 100 bundles, it took me like 2.5, 3 hours to bundle all that wood. And there was probably a lot more wood, probably a lot more time involved in that too, because I had to load IBC totes up, take them with the tractor into the garage, bundle them, put them in IBC totes. I had to load the trailer, all that stuff. But we're not gonna say any of that's part of this, just to keep it simple. Also, if you're selling a cord of wood, it takes a lot of time to load a cord of wood in a trailer. So let's just say the loading part offsets each other. So if you have $500, or if you're gonna get $500 for a full cord of bundles, let's just call it, so 100 bundles, versus if you were going to sell the wood for $330. So that's quite a bit of money, right? That's $170, right? So $170. But if you took that 3 hours that it took to bundle, or 2.5 hours that it took to bundle those 100, and made another cord of wood, you could add $330 to that $330, and you're at $660. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. I hope y'all are following along. So what I found out is if I spend more time splitting wood, I'm gonna make more money overall over time. That's what I've come to realize, is bundles, going full bundles is not for me, and even selling bundles in bulk is not for me. I just don't feel like the money is there for the time that's being spent. And here's another thing. A lot of people don't realize how hard it is to sell bulk bundles, because the reason that is because there's mass producers selling bulk bundles, and they're shipping all over. They're kiln drying it, that way they can wrap it as fast as possible, and they're shipping it out. That's why they can get to all these grocery stores and stuff like that. If you're going to be able to find bundle customers, they're going to want it cheaper, and they're going to want it cheaper than what a mass producer can do. So, you know, you're kind of fighting with that. Whereas just bulk firewood, I guarantee you're going to sell bulk firewood. You're going to sell it no matter what. Bundles is a specific customer, and so a lot of times you have to sit on them. I mean, I have Sadie made like 70, 80 bundles, and ever since I put those bags out there, now I raised the price. I've only sold 2 bags, and that's in like 2 to 3 weeks. And then sometimes bundles fall out the door, but like I said, that's for a specific customer, and that's for someone that's only buying 1 or 2, maybe 3 bundles at a time, versus a customer that's buying bulk wood. I hope y'all understand where I'm coming from. I know there's some people out there, and I'm sure, and I'm not knocking you, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm sure there's some people that found a good deal with bundles, and I'm happy for them. I wish I could do that, but like I said, that seems like more time and effort than I want to put in it, when I know I could just make firewood and sell all of it. I sell every year. So what's the point of me taking extra time to try to sell something that I can't necessarily sell? Now that I've said all that, I'm not knocking bundles. I'm just saying that I feel like a lot of people are trying bundles and have high hopes for it, but in my experience, I haven't found a way to sell bundles at the retail price that I want to sell. So that kind of defeats the purpose of selling bundles, you know? Like, I know you're gonna get more money per stick, but when you calculate the time, it just doesn't make sense to me. So that's why I sell truckloads and a couple cord every year, and sell out my wood, and I don't have to worry about it. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Enough of that, let's do some splitting. So we had a nice rainstorm yesterday, so everything is wet, which is just fine. I am super glad to have water on the ground, because we hadn't seen water in a couple weeks. So what we got here is to split up the rest of this oak. You guys see the pile is gone, and that is all we have left. We went to the beach. We went to Carolina Beach this past weekend, so I split all week last week trying to get ahead. That's why this bucket is halfway full. So far from this pile of wood that me and my dad cut up, I've gotten 12 buckets. This will be number 13. So we're looking at around 3.5 cord. We'll just see. I'd say this is probably going to fill the rest of that bucket up, and maybe a half of one, maybe 3/4 of another bucket. So we're probably looking at 14 buckets, and I would say 4 buckets is a cord. So yeah, that's 3 full cord and then 2 buckets. So 3.5 cord is what we're looking at there. Let's get the Wolfridge 28 Pro C fired up and the old conveyor and see if we can make small pieces. pretty good load right there. This is all oak and it's wet, so it's a little heavier than usual. We're over here in the piling wood yard, and I have kind of run out of space to use my tractor bucket and dump it. So now I'm going to have to start piling, and here's what this process looks like. I'm just going to grab it out of the bucket, throw it on the conveyor, and send it up into piles. I usually use my power box for the conveyor just because it's super convenient. But today I'm running a drop cord from the house because I need that power box for later today when Clara has a softball tournament. This conveyor is electric, so that's why we're running the drop cord. Let's chuck some wood. We got the bucket empty and the pile continues to grow. Y'all see this pile of wood right here? I'll tell you what's going on. I have a cross member right here and it's not letting the wood go all the way down. It's hitting right there. So what I found out, if I cut a hole in the bottom here, it'll make the wood drop out, and that's why it's there, and it won't get clogged up anymore, because there's nothing I can do to stop it from getting stuck between the chain and riding down the conveyor. You can see I cut off the sides up there and that didn't help at all. I think what I'm gonna start doing is I'm actually gonna put a tarp down right here, and I'm just gonna dump all the wood out on the tarp and then feed the conveyor, because I can only get about half of this out before I have to tilt it, and then it's hitting the ground anyway. So I might as well just drop it all right there and then load it to the conveyor. That's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.